so we can talk about it later.
Good evening and good morning, everyone. We're back. So you'll notice that our fearless leader is taking the night off. But we decided, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
That's right.
So the ladies have taken over.
With Luke.
Oh, and me. With me. Well,
he's honorary.
I think Jeff questions my gender quite often. So anyway.
No, Luke is honorary. He's accepted it. So it is a primarily female panel tonight. We have a special guest, and I'm going to let Vera take over from here.
Hi, guys. I am very proud to introduce you to my sister, my younger sister. She thinks I tell people differently, but I don't. She is running as the Democratic candidate for the 126th Assembly District here in New York State. I am very proud of my younger sister. She was two terms on the Auburn Large City School District, and one term as an Auburn City Councilor. And now she's hopefully on her way to Albany as our next assembly person.
Woo!
You want to tell us a little bit about you and your campaign?
So I'm running for New York State Assembly, as my sister said. Thank you, Vera. And I am younger. It's so unusual to be this close to somebody in COVID, right? But she lives next door to me, and she's in my small circle of people. So we are unmasked here. But yeah, I'm running for New York State Assembly in the 126th Assembly District, which means nothing to most people. But it's right here in central New York, where we've grown up and we've lived all our lives. And it is 4 counties, actually: Cayuga County, Cortland County, part of Onondaga County, and part of Eagle County.
So, just quickly, because we have a state election here right now. So do you guys have minor parties, like candidates running as well? Or is it just the 2 major parties, Republican, Democrat?
Well, there is mostly 2 parties. For this particular race, there's just 2 candidates, but there's 5 parties represented on the ballot. So you could have multiple lines in New York State. So I'm running on the Democratic line, but I'm also on the Working Families line. And my opponent is on the Republican line, and some others as well. In New York State, the lines all get added to the person. So if you vote for me on the Working Families line, I still get credit. And if you vote for me on the Democratic line, I still get credit. So they add together. And so it just gives people the option of party platforms. What is the percentage of people who lean toward one party platform or the other? So that's kind of its purpose. But it really shakes out to just about two lines. At one point of this race, it looked like there would be 3 candidates on this race, but it didn't work out that way, because in a primary, my opponent did edge out the other, and he had 2. Now he has more than 1 line, but there was a little bit of a primary on the other side.
Yeah, it's so different there. Like even like your major parties sort of elect who will run for things together. Like we have 9 candidates just in my local electorate here right now that's running. Like our election's the 31st of this month. And yeah, so we've got 9 people running. 2 of them are obviously the major parties. Our major parties are the ALP, which is Labour Party, which is, I guess, was comparable to the Democrats, and then we have LMP, which was comparable to the Republicans. I think nowadays they've sort of bled into each other and they don't really have much of an identity.
So do you have ranked choice voting, Luke?
Yes. So I have the number 1 to 9 on the ballot, and we have a lot of people. They're not independent so much. There's a lot of smaller parties, though, and I think that the smaller parties in this election, they'll never hold federal power. They'll never hold government, but if they have enough seats, they will hold the balance of power, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they will actually be able to have influence over what the 2 major parties are actually doing.
I have a question. So for those out there who may not be familiar with the other parties, what exactly does the Working Families Party entail?
Well, the Working Families Party tends to be, as it states, right? It tends to be interested in issues of working class, right? So they are very labor centric. They are very progressive in their how much minimum wage, that sort of thing they get involved with. They get involved with healthcare for all. So
Childcare, I'd imagine.
Childcare as well. So they focus on those issues that are making us all middle class, basically.
Yeah.
So we run the risk of certain not all making a living wage, not all having health care, and this is something that they're very, very dedicated to safeguarding.
Dia, is there a big difference if you get elected through either of those two parties that you represent? What happens there? Like if you're elected through,
regardless of what party, I think that people kind of, the party system is so that you kind of group together with some of the major philosophies. You agree on certain things. Again, healthcare, working wage, that sort of thing, labor organizations. Those are things that you have a loose connection with. Okay. And so then when you get to Albany, you actually represent everyone. So you have to represent all of the people in your district. And certainly the people who vote for you know what your slant is because of your party affiliation. But that doesn't mean that you can't be more moderate or even vote with the other side. You represent everyone in your district. So the party affiliation has to do with the politics of it all, the running, right? So you do want to have a major party endorsement to run. They can help you. They have connections. For example, when I was nominated and endorsed by the major parties in each of the counties, in Cayuga County, they helped me do the petitioning. There's a very large number of petition signatures that you have to get on the ballot. If you're doing it by yourself, it can be a whole bunch of hard work. It is a whole bunch of hard work anyway, but when the party comes in, they help you out. They put up your signs. They talk to their neighbors about you. So there is that kind of organizational support on the different party sides. So you do want to have those major party supports because of all of the volunteers that come with it and people who can help you. They know how to run campaigns. They actually have a lot of expertise in it. So you do want to have that support.
I'd like you to take a minute, Dia, and talk about one of your key concerns, and one that I think everyone in Central New York should be concerned about, our water, the Finger Lakes, and protecting our natural resources here.
Thanks, Vera. Boom. All right. So I think they call that in the media world a softball.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I think,
it's going out of the park now. The 126th Assembly District, which goes across Central New York, has 4 Finger Lakes in it. It has Cayuga Lake, it has Owasco Lake, it has Skaneateles Lake and Otisco Lake. And it also has the Kettle Lakes of Portland and Onondaga County. And all have been affected by global climate disruption. We think of global climate change as something that's happening somewhere else. Okay, our summer's a little longer, our summer's a little drier, maybe we notice it, maybe we don't. But the reality is that because the lakes are warming, because there are different climate events, the runoff into the lake is different than it's ever been, the lakes. So what has happened is that we have harmful algal blooms that are growing in the lake. And we call them harmful algal blooms, and that seems like it's kind of like it doesn't seem, they say harmful, but they're algal blooms. It sounds somewhat,
benign.
I don't know, benign. Thank you. That's a great word. So it's benign, but the reality is that it is cyanobacteria. And cyanobacteria, when it dies, releases microcystin toxins. And if you get the microcystin toxins on your skin, you get it almost is like a chemical burn. It is dangerous in our drinking water, and it is also it's just terrible. It's bad for the wildlife that's in it. Dogs have died in our kettle lakes this summer, in Little York Lake. 2 dogs died. They felt it was from swimming in water that had cyanobacteria in it. So it's terrible. So global climate disruption is causing harmful algal blooms. It's also causing invasive species in our lakes and around our in the vegetation that is around the lakes as well, which help to protect our lakes. And it's a huge threat. It's a huge threat all over New York State, but it's here, and it's especially a threat. The Finger Lakes that I just named, Owasco Lake alone provides drinking water for 45,000 people. The Skaneateles Lake provides drinking water for 500,000 people. So this is not something that can be taken lightly, if you will. So it's an issue that came up when I was on city council. I learned a lot about it. And now it's something that somebody with an eye on this region of New York State needs to bring to Albany so that we can make sure that we protect our lakes from further damage, that we clean up our lakes that from right now, the state they're in. And if there are emergency situations, we are going to need to react to them. So all of those things. So I talk a lot about this. So
You gotta imagine that kind of, you gotta imagine that kind of affects tourism, especially if it gets into Skaneateles Lake. That's a huge tourist area, and their thing is the boat tours, and people go on their boats and they go swimming and live by the lake. That's the appeal.
And really, all it takes is for one person to take their boat out into a lake that has the harmful algae in it, unload their boat, bring it to another lake, drop it in, and that's how it's hopping from lake to lake. And it's, this year, my aunt stayed on Seneca Lake, and they were watching for it constantly. And the homeowner, thankfully, was very attentive and would call them and say, hey, we heard there were harmful algae blooms, but they were at the other side of the lake. Just keep an eye out, because they have a little golden doodle who swims in the lake constantly. But, it was, I'm a cat lady. I can't help it. So, in case you guys didn't see, Gus often will accompany me on the show. But yeah, so I think that protecting our lakes and protecting the people of the Finger Lakes, those of us that live here that have grown up going to those lakes and swimming and fishing and enjoying the beauty that is living in the Finger Lakes, it's extremely important. And I think that for you to stand up on that issue and just say, this is something that has to be handled is a wonderful thing.
I absolutely believe it needs to be addressed as well, because, there's people that deny climate change, and I am not one of those people. I absolutely believe it. But I believe personally it's just due to the fact that we've got too much population on this planet now. It's been overpopulated, and I think that's what's become, there's always what's going on as well with like industrialization and all of that happening as well. But I think the fact that there's just so much of it now because there's so many people is an issue. But I don't know the solution to that. We don't want to go down the route of China. You can only have one child and all of this kind of stuff.
Well, already blew that. Sorry, guys.
So Luke, actually, when I was
climate change,
it is me and all my December babies. Sorry, guys.
You're sorry, Vera.
I don't know that. I don't know the inside jokes. Is that an inside joke?
Oh
You
no, I have two sons.
She has 2 children.
And my oldest was born December 12th in 2014, and my most recent child was born December 11th, 2019, and I am born in December too. So I just have a bunch of December people in the house. So that is my joke.
Okay.
It's not a very funny one. It's just very crowded in December here. But
So
speaking of children, and you are an educator. I'm interested to hear your take on how remote learning and going back to school in the time of COVID. How do you think we're doing? What would you do differently?
We're not doing well. So remote learning, the way that we kind of got slammed into this is not. It's not a solution. It's making do with what you're dealt. It is an emergency situation where we just need to provide content to students. It's not being done with any grace or any thought. I think now in September, as we go back to school, I think there is some support that we didn't necessarily have in March when the schools just got slammed closed. We are still struggling. So I teach at the community college, at Cayuga Community College, and so I have college students and I teach math. And I don't think that I think that all of my students have technology. They all have, some are struggling with getting good internet access, and they can work on their own. And I can provide them content, and then they can study. So it's a little different in my situation. I think that my college students who are learning math remotely with me in like a Zoom classroom are doing okay. But so much else happens, like in an elementary school. There's socialization and the learning of the rules and just a general maturing into academic life through your elementary school, early reading, all of those things. And I think that those things are suffering. I think our educators are doing the best that they can under some very difficult situations. But I don't even know that I would call it distance learning or anything like that, because that takes a process and some know-how. The teachers need to learn the methods and the techniques to actually deliver it well. And nobody trained that way. All the teachers are trained in the classroom in that environment. So it's not ideal. We have to do it for the public health. I'm a believer that we have to do it, but our students are going to suffer. It's hard. Our parents are really, really stressed. Our family lives are very stressed right now. Worrying about whether our children are safe when they go to school, worrying about whether or not, you're doing what's right as a parent. So yeah, it's a rough road we have. If people would just wear their masks and wash their hands, we could get back to normal. But so many people are struggling and making this public health issue political.
Yeah.
Has been it's
lethal.
It's heart-wrenching, because who in the long run is going to hurt? Our economy hurts as a result. Our schools hurt as a result. People die. Just wear the freaking mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's COVID going there now?
On that?
We'll have a shirt made. Just wear the freaking mask.
Yeah, wear the
With Vera's little cartoon, this little one here. I love this one.
I get a broom. When did I get a broom?
That's
You
amazing.
had a broom because you did the ghost hunting.
Listen,
So I had you ghost busting on a broom, Halloween. Why not?
I missed a big opportunity to make my vote for DM masks. I could have just been rocking it. Big opportunity missed.
Today that I should have.
How is
actually
COVID
discovered
there now, dear?
COVID here?
Yeah, how's it going
Oh
now? Like,
my
is
God,
it up, down?
We are going up.
Spike.
had 50 cases in a week.
We had
Yeah.
65 here in Onondaga County, I believe. It's
Wow.
not a good week for us.
No.
No.
Overall, New York State is still doing
Yes,
okay, but
we're still
Yeah.
under 2%, but
Cuba and Onondaga County are having a little spiky spike.
mhm.
It's a little scary.
And do you think that's probably more so to do with, like, obviously we had the big spike in Victoria here, but that was a big kerfuffle with, you know, when they put all the people that were infected into a hotel, and then they employed private security guards who were then having sex with the infected people, and it was a complete disaster.
I don't think
The
it's
government
that
really
fair.
being held to account for that.
It's
They're like,
not-
why would you employ private security guards? You know, you don't even know what their training is. Like, whatever they are, like that's how it broke out. Was like these people come back from a cruise, got quarantined in a hotel, slept with the security guards, who then went home and mixed with their family and whatever the hell they were
Yeah,
doing.
it's not that sexy here.
That sounds like the
It's
start
like
of a
Melrose Place with
horrible zombie
COVID.
movie.
Yeah, no, it's not. And the way I understand it, a lot of the clusters are due to college students who just want to party and not follow the rules.
Oh,
At
so
least
it's a little bit similar.
I think the most recent ones here in this county were prison population and a super spreader baby shower.
Oh, I didn't hear
Oh.
about the baby shower, but
Yeah,
in Onondaga County,
County is specific to those two events right now.
yikes.
These
Yeah.
baby showers cause a lot of problems over there because they cause bushfires,
Yeah,
pandemics.
we're a mess.
Like,
We're a mess.
No
But,
gender reveal.
No gender reveals here, baby. But in Onondaga County, we have Syracuse University, and specifically the cluster in Syracuse was due to a off-campus party. Well, at least there.
Yeah.
So, but I also feel like a lot of people younger than me, and even in my age bracket, people are going to bars and restaurants, and
Right.
they don't want to wear their masks. And
Be out so that she doesn't have to sit around and wait for me to start dropping F-bombs if she's ready to.
That's right. I told Vera that if she was going to drop F-bombs, and I was, because of my political life, I was going
yep.
to get off.
you're distancing yourself from her.
Before we let Vera go do Vera, do you want to take a couple minutes and just, promote yourself a little more?
I don't think I could promote myself anymore.
And do you have any final parting words or any
So, my
knowledge?
favorite subject, me.
It's a good subject.
I just invite everybody to go out and vote. I think that at this point in time, people know which way they're going, and so there is early voting starting October 24th in New York State, which is this Saturday. So if you need to know anything about early voting, go to my website, diafораssembly.com.
Wait, I'm doing it now, dear, for assembly.
If my campaign manager is watching, he'll be really happy.
And not that it matters. Not that it's as prestigious as a endorsement from our local Syracuse.com, but Dia is endorsed by Uncensored Radio. Yay!
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored. I am so honored. Since one part of it is always broadcast from my living room.
It's the least we could do. But no, good luck and I really hope that things go well with the campaign, and that some positive changes happen over there.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And so the real reason is not to let Vera have, just to drop F-bombs, but I'm past my cocktail hour. I'm going to go make a Manhattan and then go watch.
Oh, yummy. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you for coming.
Idea. I'm voting.
Now look at how bad my hair looks with her good lighting.
So how many F-bombs can we drop? We made it 24 minutes into a show with no swearing, no vulgarity,
All right, kids, it is the time we've all been waiting for. It is time for a Vera rant.
Well, what am I going to rant about today?
All right, Vera,
well.
we've got a lot of topics for
We
you.
got your tweets, Katie. Here, let's pop them up straight away.
Oh, you're out of order, baby. Hold
yeah.
on.
Oh,
Crazy.
I'm out of order.
There we go. All right, Vera. So the topic is Rudy Giuliani.
Well, first of all, Rudy Giuliani, if you don't know who Borat is, climb back into your bat cave for crying out loud. Did you not know that this was going to be a setup? Everything he does is a setup. Ugh. Complete fabrication. I was
complete fabrication. Well, was he inappropriate with him?
So
what happened? Oh, tell me. Because obviously he was getting set up. Because we know. What
Vera, I'm gonna let you explain it because this is your rant. You go for it.
Okay, Giuliani agrees to be in the next Borat movie by Sacha Baron Cohen, as we all know, and Sacha Baron Cohen pretends to be this character Borat who comes to the United States.
Did Giuliani know that he's pretending to be the character, or did he believe it was actually the character?
I'm
because
sure
you have to be under a rock.
I believe he didn't know. I cannot believe he didn't know. But he goes, the woman who was playing the reporter was a young blonde, probably not underage.
no.
Probably not underage. She probably was an adult. But
She was. I looked it up.
Let's go back to the room and I'll help you take your mic off.
She is an adult.
He gets down the bed. She helps him take his mic off. He's prone on the bed and his hands are clearly in his pants.
Oh, lovely.
And then the character Borat comes in and says, "What are you doing? This is my daughter. She's 15. She's way too old for you."
I love that.
How did he not know that this was a setup? I mean, if he doesn't know this was a setup, this has got setup written on it so much deeper.
How can they not know? Like Sacha Baron, like look what he did with Paula Abdul. That was hilarious. I don't know what she was doing. Did she know, or was she just acting and sitting on somebody? Because I would have just said straight away, like, ouch.
Oh, well,
ouch.
Paula is just so oblivious. I would believe she had no idea. She is just out there.
But Giuliani has spent the last 2 years trying to manufacture this Hunter Biden scandal. The FBI took the laptop and said clearly that the emails that were the smoking gun originated in the Ukraine or in Soviet, showing my age, the Russian region, and were emailed into that hard drive. You know, there's so many holes in this scandal, but he can't see the scandal that's him with his hand down his pants and a young woman. I mean, come on, Rudy.
Exactly. And you know you're doing a film that's going to set you up. Like, for God's sake, how stupid can you be?
Yes.
And then you're obviously such a slime ball that you're laying there, like, trying to, I don't know, crack onto this woman that you think is just like working on a show.
So I'm not sticking up for him by any means, but even if he were adjusting the boys, let's say, or trying to fix his underwear, having your hands in your pants in front of a stranger is still inappropriate.
Especially in front of a female, I think is really inappropriate.
I mean, there have been a few times when I've had a mic pack on and I've never had to stick my hands down my pants to take it off. Even if it was in the back of my shirt, I never had to stick my hands down my pants to take it off. Rudy, come on. You're a slime ball. You're a bigger lech than your boss.
Are we sure about that?
Well, there was some more. In fact, it looks like exaggeration serenity. As soon as I realized it was a setup, I called the police. Just to be noted. And then,
how great to be in a movie. How can it be a set?
Exactly. Like going into this, like Sacha Baron Cohen. Come on, you have to know, or you've just been oblivious to the world.
You know, doesn't he have an agent or some sort of manager who was telling him, "Yeah, you can do the Sacha Baron Cohen movie. You can do an interview."
Make sure you behave on set.
I was reminded earlier today that in his previous movie, he was actually sued by Pamela Anderson because she wasn't in on the whole kidnapping skit. Like she
Oh,
wasn't in
really?
a gag. So, I mean, there is a possibility that he's gone about the second movie the same way. But I'm standing by my statement that Rudy's actions were inappropriate, regardless of whether or not he knew he was in the movie, regardless of whether or not he knew it was a setup.
Yep.
It was still
Absolutely
inappropriate.
was. It's still it's grubby behavior. And
Well,
I think it sort of segues into what I want to talk about next, but we'll finish up on this.
I'm going to finish my rant real quick before we say
You
that.
don't want to finish this
She
rant.
hasn't even dropped the F-bomb yet.
She hasn't even sworn
Big
yet.
single problem with this whole kerfuffle, if I can borrow one of Luke's words, is that you have spent so much time setting up scandals. Why would you stick your hand down your pants in front of a camera ever? Why? What is wrong with you? Are you mentally unstable? I mean, I guess I know the answer to it. He's standing by Trump, and it's the mentally unstable duo, but God, don't be an idiot.
There's a great post going around that says, like, Hunter Biden, who's in California, flew across the country to drop his laptop at some random computer place, paid for it, abandoned it.
And the supposed computer genius he flew all the way across the country to leave his laptop with is legally blind.
And not to mention that it's unethical to go through someone's emails when you're supposedly repairing someone's computer. If you're wiping a drive, you're just supposed to wipe it. You're not supposed to look at it.
And if there actually was inappropriate pictures on Hunter Biden's laptop and Rudy Giuliani emailed them, then he's committing an illegal action. You can't, send pornography to somebody else.
Right. It's not illegal to show them on your device. If you have it in your hand and you show that to them, that's not illegal. But if you send it to anyone else, that is illegal.
Yeah. Like,
and
crazy.
And not to mention, the story has just been. It's been just.
I could put so many people in jail on Grindr because that's just, you can't even get a hello on Grindr. It's just penis.
Well, see, when I was younger, this is a terrible confession, but when I was younger, I had a girlfriend and she and I did the Banger Sisters thing. Do you guys know what that is?
I know the Banger Sisters with Susan Sarandon and Goldie Hawn.
Exactly, and they had what was called the Rock Cock Collection.
Oh.
And so in my 20s, that was the age of pictures being sent over your cell phones and everything.
Right.
And so my one friend and I used to share our pictures. Like if I got one or she got one, we would send it with, oh my God, check this out. This is ridiculous. So that went on for years. And but that was a long time ago.
That's it. Like, I think it is inappropriate. People shouldn't be sending stuff like that. But I think if you log onto a platform, like I know when I go onto something like Grindr, what's going to happen. I know what I'm in for. So I'm not going to be so offended or I'm calling the police.
Image between two people,
that's different. Yeah. And the story has been debunked. Like they couldn't back up their story. The guy who repaired the computer kept changing up his story, and there's just nothing to it. And there's a reason. And there's a reason why it's not in, like, it would hit once and then people kind of left it to the right wing nuts to keep it alive. There's a reason why, because it has no merit.
It wasn't believable.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying so hard to replicate Hillary's email scandal because they need it. They need it bad. They need it bad, but it's just not going to happen. Like at this point, they really kind of need to.
Hunter Biden did take a job in the Ukraine. That's verifiable. He was paid $600,000, but the Trump kids have made millions. Why are you going to hold him to a different standard than your own children?
Because he needs it bad. He doesn't have anything else to ride on at this point.
I'm ranting my way into a coughing fit.
Woo, she's working herself up.
Go ahead. Way away, Luke.
Oh, look, I was going to segue into, look, this story is a little bit of not a nice story either. But it was a nurse. She's a 39-year-old nurse. She's walking to work in the morning.
Hold on. Trigger warning. There is
Yeah.
a.
That's a good.
Yeah, I'm not going to show the footage. I don't think.
Well,
we
no,
need to
still,
see it.
just this is a story about sexual assault.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, according to the judge, Mandy Fox, it's not sexual assault. It's just a pure assault. And I'm like, so a young male's attacking a woman walking on her own. He doesn't even know her. So there's no precursor to this attack. He's grabbed her, dragged her into an alley, laid on top of her,
Was
tried to
clearly
spread her
thrusting at her
legs.
backside.
Mhm.
What the hell? I think that judge is a disgrace. I think that there was so many things that have happened in that state, Victoria, with murders like Jill Maher. The footage is almost reminiscent of exactly what happened to Jill, except she died. Jill was walking home on her own. She was dragged away, beaten, raped, and murdered. And then this kind of crap happens, and then you've got judges saying, "Oh, it's just an assault. Oh, you're a promising footballer." That was the articles, and half the journalist articles. Promising young footballer.
Analogous to this is the Brock Turner case.
I was just gonna say this is Brock Turner all over again. They didn't want to.
Was a promising young swimmer who actually raped a woman and was caught raping her.
Two witnesses to this horrible person raping this woman. Two witnesses.
And the judge, he's a good kid with a promising future. We're not going to charge him with anything much. I
really wish there was a way to hold these people accountable, the judges, because they're the ones letting them out, but we never will be able to.
Here's the thing, though. We are getting to a place where, as a woman, it is very scary. As a minority, as an African American, as a homosexual, as a transgender, as there are so many things that put a target on your back that if you are not an average white male walking around, you are suspect to be, you're a target. You're a victim.
Being the senior citizen and the granny in this group, that's the world I grew up in. If you were gay, you kept it to yourself. If you were black, you knew your place. If you were your woman, you kept your mouth shut. If you got raped, you must have done something. And in the 60s and the 70s with the women's movement, we moved the needle to a very moderate place where people were all people and rights were human rights, not just white rights. And the administration and this nationalist energy that's all over the globe right now. It's not just here, even though Trump has magnified it. It's all over the globe. Is scary as hell. And it's fueled by this toxic masculinity where white males need to be in charge and the rest of us need to suck up and
shut up and deal.
Agreed.
I think like the pendulum swings both ways, and I think it's swinging now in a place that's very dangerous. And I think, if we had Sandy here, Sandy would definitely
patriarchy.
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 That's not wrong. Like,
I mean, that's toxic masculinity.
I mean, it was a female judge, but you know what? And like, this is our post on our page, and I completely endorse that. He is a rapist. That video says he's a rapist. And I don't care if some judge that may have been paid off.
But here in the States, you've got Ben Roethlisberger, who's been credibly accused of sexual assault and possibly rape, and continues to have a multi-million-dollar career as quarterback of the Steelers.
That's crazy. And Jackson Williams, if you ever watch this, I'm happy to amend that image. If you have a problem with me calling you a rapist, I'll just call you a woman basher. So just let me know. Reach out to me. I'm happy to do that, because if you think that's less evil, then go for it.
Ooh, had a Luke rant.
Ooh, the claws came out.
I just don't like it. I just think it's sick. And, with what happened to Jill Maher and all these other women that have... where's the justice? Where's the justice for that lady? Where's the justice for her family? Exactly. Where, and to have that... If that was someone in my family, I would kill you. I would actually kill you, mate. So and I will stand by that too.
And this is what we were
And I
saying
hope
with,
somebody does, because you're a piece of crap. You will do it again. You're probably going to murder somebody because that's just how you're wired. I
Where's
don't
that's
care.
what we were saying about
the two
Brock
women who
Turner.
accused President Trump?
And well, what was Brock Turner sentenced to? Like 6-9 months in prison? He only served 3.
I don't even think he was in prison. I think he was in like a county house jail.
He was
Yeah.
released on good behavior.
Yeah, and his
Because
promise.
he was what? He was around all men, so he couldn't rape anyone.
Apparently,
Or he was the small fish in the pond.
And now,
It's
and now
Turns out
disgusting.
they were in prison. Men rape men.
I know, but I mean,
for
Yeah, I know, but yeah,
And I
it's
think
good
they were
behavior
trying-
because he can't commit the crime he committed while he was out.
exactly.
But-
My
and I
point.
think
Like,
they tried to appeal him being on the sex offender list too, because it's ruining his life. And you think you didn't ruin that woman's life? Fuck you.
You know,
man.
girls, I truly believe this, and I
Absolutely.
will say it. I don't think that's normal behavior in a human being. I think that's somebody who's deranged. I understand that people become violent with each other when things get heated and things like that. I can see, it's still wrong. But for a man to attack a woman, especially a woman you don't even know, and drag her into an alley, completely deprive her of all her liberty, overpower her and thrust her, like that's just something I couldn't even fathom.
It's some
Who would
incel
do that to
fucking behavior
somebody?
is what it is. He feels
Who
like he's
would do that
entitled
to
to
anybody?
it.
Like it's just something I think these judges need to actually look at it as just what it is. That person is so deranged and damaged and sick
It's
and dangerous to
aberrant
society. They
behavior.
can't be rehabilitated. Get rid of them. Lock them away.
Aberrant.
He's an
You know?
he's an incel. It's probably what he is. He's an incel. He feels like he's entitled to a woman's body.
Oh,
It's
don't get me
disgusting.
started on the incels. The whole they're entitled to women to submit to them nonsense. My God, where is this coming from? What this is as insane as the lizard people theory of the QAnoners. It's like lizard people. Do you hear yourself?
yeah.
Lizard people.
But it's like we've gone back in time in some ways. Like, we're so modernized in a lot of ways, but then it's like people are clutching to these archaic beliefs, and I guess they are ingrained that,
All I got to say is good luck shoving us all back into our closets, because I speak
You're
as a
back in the
woman who
kitchens.
ain't going. I know a whole shit ton of gay guys and gay women who aren't going. I know a whole shit ton of people of color who aren't going. So,
And there's a whole lot of women like the 3 of us that are not going to sit down and shut up.
nope.
And that's,
We ain't going back.
and we can't
except for
allow
Katie.
it to happen. And on that
Katie
note,
will be
Katie
back.
went.
Katie will agree. Katie was agreeing. She
Would
just,
agree.
her internet's not working well for some reason. Yeah, look, I don't really know where to go from there. This is another story that's in Australia, so this is all Australian stuff. Sorry, because it's the last stuff I've posted on the page.
Nope, that's okay.
So
I read-
Chappelle Corby, so she was convicted in Bali of smuggling marijuana, like 4.2 kilograms of marijuana. The logistics of it don't really make sense, because I'm sure you would make more selling marijuana here in Australia than bringing it over there. But anyway, she's always maintained her innocence, but she did serve nearly a whole decade in jail there. Like, she was up for death penalty and everything. Then she
For
did 3 years of
marijuana.
parole for marijuana.
Well, Bali's
And
kind of
she's been
backwards,
pardoned
isn't it?
back here now,
Don't you still
and
have
she's
public
done this show.
documents about- If we have
Well,
any
she's
friends
done the
in
show.
Bali, I apologize for insulting your country.
Well, you can blow up a nightclub full of people and just get 10 years jail, but you'll be executed for dealing drugs, like whatever.
Well,
Asinine.
the country with the public flogging for the American.
Yeah, I think homosexuality is illegal there still as well, because it is an Islamic country by majority. But what happened to Chappelle was she was jailed. She's been let out. Like, she had a lot of struggle with mental illness while she was in jail. She was hallucinating. She said on the show, so she's done this show in Australia, SAS, so it's Special Air Service, which is more or less like Marine training, if you could imagine. Think of G.I. Jane, like they really push them. They put them in a ring and say you get to beat each other. and do all this kind of stuff. So she lasted a little while into it. But she quit because of the physical stuff. But they were quite impressed with how mentally resilient she was. She was not she'd cry a lot, but not in a way that she was crumbling. So they were quite happy with that. And I kind of think, though, there's a lot of people jumping on her right now, and they're saying she shouldn't get paid because she's using her notoriety as a drug smuggler to make money. I'm like, well, you know what? You all made her have this fame. You
This
all
image.
gave it to her.
Right.
You know, and so what if she wants to capitalize on it now? She's done her time. She's out of jail.
Right.
You know?
There's
So whatever light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm sorry too, like, you know, yeah, it was grass. Like, to me, it doesn't deserve hating somebody so much that you want to see them suffer for the rest of their days. And that's what a lot of the comments are on all of the articles about her. And I just think it's not a nice place to be.
Hate never solved a single problem.
Exactly.
You know?
Leave it be. And, you know, like, she's done a time. She's not out there making a big thing of herself. She's always stayed away. She won't do interviews much. She did do an interview on Sunrise a couple of days ago, which is a morning breakfast show here, and it was awkward as hell because they were sort of trying to make light of her a bit, you know, like taking the piss out of her. And they were like, oh, what was harder, doing this show or being in jail in Bali? And she is like, well, they're completely two different things.
Yeah.
There's
and he's like, oh, how so? And she's just like looking at the camera like, what the fuck? And she's like, well, I could choose to leave the show. Like,
there's a model now that actually got famous on his mugshot because he was so pretty. They call him the hot felon, Jeremy Meeks. Yeah, he was, you know, he was a Crip and he did a hard time, and now he's a supermodel.
Was he naughty though? Was he actually naughty?
Yeah.
He was arrested. Let's see. He's a convicted felon, so he's naughty.
Yeah.
But he was federal charges of being a felon in possession of a firearm and grand theft. So nothing violent. But
Sounds like my kind of guy.
Well, he was a Crip, so he was probably violent. He might have been violent. Well, he's a gang member. You can't tell me gang members aren't violent.
What I go for? Dangerous, abusive. I'm waiting for you. Actually pretty on top. It's amazing. So,
And
you know.
he's consistently gone home to his wife, I do believe.
I think he cheated on her.
Now he's boring.
Oh,
I think when he first got famous, he was naughty there. But
No,
not a shocker.
not a shocker.
he's a man. Sorry, I said it.
Oh, wow.
See, I
Change
don't
it to a nice
fully
story
back
now.
that statement, Katie. I can't fully back it.
It is gone. I can share my theory on men.
Okay.
Not medically
Vera,
proven.
I'm giving you the screen.
I firmly believe that we know that the anatomy of an erection is that the penis fills with blood. And there's only so much blood in the human body, and gravity being what it is, the blood comes from somewhere, probably from the top down.
Well, obviously.
The cumulative damage of a lifetime of erections.
Every
Every
man out there suffering from hypoxia,
Yeah.
except for
I love it.
people with micro penises.
Oh no, we don't. I'm not down with size shaming. Can't do it. Sorry.
I am, but this is
He
not
was-
the show.
He
for
was
it.
merely
We've had
pointing
a-
out the difference. I mean, requiring less blood would mean that you
Yeah.
would be less likely
I
to
would
develop
imagine John
hypoxia.
Holmes
That is
suffered
factual.
hypoxia
But
more
isn't that,
so than somebody
isn't that
who was
funny
John
of me?
Holmes.
I'm willing to
For
I'm
whatever.
willing to throw out all the misandry I want, but you start shaming a man's penis size. I'm like, oh no.
No, we're not shaming. Not shaming.
Hey, we're just
Stating a medical
medical
fact.
facts.
Yes, Luke, medical facts.
It's just funny because here I am, like, I hate men, blah blah blah. Ooh, don't penis shame. That's not nice.
There are some medical anatomical things happening that suggests that the cumulative effect might be some brain damage.
Oh
Look,
shit!
I don't doubt it.
I'm stuck in a room full of nurses. I'm not going to win this.
Let's change gears quickly.
Okay.
All right, who wants to read this? Katie, you read this one.
Oh, okay, sisters.
Does?
For the first time since 1993, Bet, Kathy, and SJP have been photographed as their legendary Sanderson sisters' alter egos. The ladies have been reunited for Midler's annual Halloween fundraising event. In Search of the Sanderson Sisters, a Hocus Pocus Halloween takeover is a one-night-only event taking place this October. I'm gonna.
It's gone.
No, it's.
Can we get it? Can we
No,
see it?
it's next week. It's next week.
Oh,
Stephen got the date
okay,
wrong.
October 30th, maybe.
I think that's what was meant. The 1 hour special benefits the New York Restoration Project's dedication to creating more green space for undeserved communities.
Underserved.
Underserved.
I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. Like undeserved, like what is
Yeah.
that? Underserved communities to grow their own food, connect and access safe spaces directly to their neighborhood. They're undeserved.
This is actually been Beth's pet project for like the last 20 years. She's been.
Yeah, she really wants
I
to
don't
come
care
and do
what
that
anyone
sequel, and I
says.
think they will. If
I
the
love
ladies are
Beth
getting
Midler.
together, this
Me
gets
too.
attention. They're going to do it. They will
Yeah.
do it.
I love her. I
And why
love her
not?
so much.
It was such a good time to go through that film, so why not do it again?
Who hasn't watched it at least once already this Halloween season?
I have not yet.
Yeah,
It's a
but I
year.
will.
It's a
I wanna
year-round
watch
thing
it
in
with
my house.
daughter.
So.
I think she's old enough to watch it and like it.
Oh, absolutely. We started letting Grayson watch it around Buffy's age.
Yeah, no, I think she'll like it. And actually, Vera, on the note of Halloween, we do
Yes.
have it. It's on YouTube, but I am going to do a special live stream. Just on Halloween's Eve of all of our spooky content. And one of them is your interview with the Ghost Hunter. And that was with Trink, and I really loved it. I loved watching that. She was just really informative, and she was good fun. I would love to have her come and do this with us one day as well.
Oh.
I wanted her to do the show with us, but we couldn't. She lives
the
in the
time
middle
down.
of literally nowhere. She lives on a farm on a dead end road on the other end of Neatlis Lake, so we had to.
Just so everyone knows, the date on our post was wrong. It is the 30th.
It's the 30th. I'll edit that post to fix that.
It's being hosted by Elvira.
Oh, why not?
And there's a
Good choice, Bet.
there is a
real name and made it bad. Both not bad.
There is a slew of guests, but the most important one I see is Stamos. So.
Oh, there you go. Well, I'm glad, and we're going to do that. Vera, when are we going to do our Scream viewing?
Yeah, we gotta do it
Vera's
soon.
never seen Scream, Katelyn. She's never seen it. Have you seen Scream?
Mm-mm.
Katelyn hasn't either. You're doing it with her. We're going to do it like this, just through the show. We're going to watch it live.
You heard it here first. We are
We've got two Scream virgins on the show.
And this is an uncensored horror exclusive.
How about you?
I've been nervous about being a virgin on this show more than I've ever been nervous about being a virgin in my real life.
This show can be scary.
Oh, I am so excited for this. This is one of my favorite movies.
Well, I would love to do it this weekend if we can, but we'll talk about it off air, obviously, trying to line up time. It'll be obviously nighttime for you girls. I'll do it during the day at some point.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Scream
as
is
long as
just
we do it
such a
before
great
Halloween, we've got, what have we
Oh,
got?
yeah.
8 days. 8
Well-
days to do it. And we've got 8 days to play our game too, Katie.
Yes.
So since
Yeah.
we're just here promoting,
this weekend, actually.
Since we're promoting all the spooky stuff, there will be a special edition of Uncensored Horror where we will be discussing Halloween. And I promise, kids, we're going to stay on topic this time.
We will.
I
We
will jump on
absolutely will.
Halloween horror to discuss Halloween.
Would you like to be a guest? You can be a guest.
I'm happy to be on. I love Halloween.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's my favorite holiday.
Well,
All right. Well, I think
Well-
she's talking about the film in particular.
I am
right?
talking about the film.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
Hard
Steve-
pass.
Stephen is hard set on doing the
I've
2018.
actually seen the original Halloween.
Well, Stephen wants to do the 2018 Halloween, but I might have to
I wanted it to be about the whole franchise, but he's
I do
being
too.
very difficult. But we'll discuss this with him
We'll
at a
push.
future date.
Where has he been? I haven't been on air with Stephen in a while.
He'll be on next week. So actually I'm away next week, but I'm going to try and do the show.
Doing
Because I'm
something.
going down the Gold Coast. Yeah, I'm going on vacation.
Shout out to our sweetie
Steve's back.
Stephen.
It was just due to his work, and they have daylight savings there now, so it changed the hours. In contrast to when we're doing the show. So he hasn't been able to get here for the last couple of weeks, but he'll be here on Tuesday night show.
And we probably should shout out to Jeffrey, who isn't here with us tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeffrey, we miss you as well. And I should actually show the clip of the Friday the 13th thing again, just one more time, because I know
why
everyone
not?
loves it. Yeah. I don't even know where I'm going because it's all black and grey. I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, he's got it.
Oh,
Oh.
you bastard!
Right through the throat.
Oh,
Oh,
the uterus! Fuck!
you're afraid of girls.
Was that the last bit? Or so?
Yeah, you died.
Oh.
You know,
fairness,
that
I think I was a bit
that
like
there is
toxic
accurate
then.
depiction of what a woman goes through each month. Just throwing that out there.
Caitlin's
throwing that out
speechless. She's just like,
And I am probably frozen. That stinks.
oh no, you're there. You're just
You're a little
bit,
laggy.
You're
yeah, a
just
bit laggy.
laggy, yeah.
But you know what, girls? We're actually at the end of the show. Oh, we lost
never
Katie.
talked about Hemisphere.
We
I
lost her.
know.
I know.
We never did get to talk about the
the COVID
antiviral for COVID.
Oh, let's do it quickly. We've got 5 minutes. Let's bang it. We've got more than 5 minutes if we want it.
on the docket because it's an antiviral that was addressing AIDS.
Yep.
But the religious right doesn't talk about that it was originally discovered or
So
originally.
it's the medication the brand name in Australia here is Truvada, and it's the antiviral that it's now used as a prophylactic for HIV as well. Yeah, so they found it works as a preventative. You can't catch HIV because it can't bind to the blood cells.
Right, exactly.
But so is that the same medication they're finding now is working for?
And the FDA here in this country just approved it for use with COVID, but they never mentioned.
Previously, it was only for an emergency use.
Right.
Well, the side effect of it is after long-term use, it can there's one of the things they say is that it can cause osteoporosis, lower the bone density. And that was in a prophylactic use. They never actually studied it for people that were using it to actually treat something.
What did I miss?
My big concern is that even though Remdesivir has been around for a while, we've only had coronavirus for 6 months. This is only a 6-month study, and it's already been approved through the FDA. I think it's very promising. I think it shows a lot. I mean, I did read the
They're
study.
pushing stuff through, aren't they? They're really just pushing stuff through
before the election.
Yeah, I think they're pushing this as a political leverage tool,
Right.
rather than actually evaluating it long term and getting the proper data, because
Right.
they're still wishy-washy on whether or not it's actually helping. It says that it decreases symptoms and shortens the illness time in some patients. Well,
So
it doesn't get into what patients those are. Are those patients that
Because
are
obviously they're obviously using it on people that are already corona positive too, right?
Right.
would you
I wonder
say-
if they could do a study on people that are using this medication and see if they as a prophylactic, gay community, a lot of them are using it already, and see if any of them have been affected by corona.
$1 billion federal research grant over the course of 10 years. They've been developing Remdesivir. It's not. It didn't just pop out of the woodwork because Donald Trump waved his magic wand.
I don't want to.
Oh, we didn't talk about Mitch McConnell.
We just lost Caitlin. No, she's back.
Yeah, my internet has sucked.
Doing
tonight.
this,
Sorry,
but he
guys.
called me
I'm on
anyway.
my phone right now.
Did anybody see the picture of Mitch McConnell all bruised up?
No. What happened there?
It
Did we just
I
say it at the
can
same
tell,
time?
and I'm gonna guess he's on some anticoagulant because his hands were bruised. Clearly, there was bandages on his hands, and it looked like he was wearing some sort of pancake makeup and a bruise over his left cheek into his mouth.
Well,
Mouth.
Did he
You know,
Or
like
he's got
bagel or
iron
something?
problems or something.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of impressed that he actually still has, blood in his body. I thought he was Jesus.
Well, there was a lot of speculation whether he had COVID hands, but I do think it's more likely that he's got some sort of AFib and is on an anticoag, or maybe he's got a stent somewhere.
You said he had like a bruise on his face?
He definitely, the picture, he definitely had a bruise like right here going
I
across.
tried to cover it with makeup.
It looked
Yeah,
like he was
Maybe
wearing
Trump
pancakes.
blocked him.
But his pants were pretty black, and there was definitely band-aids on his knuckles.
Maybe he was fighting with Trump. Maybe he was doing the Lord's work and he was just fighting
Well,
Trump.
even that makes me think, were they cannulating him? I don't know. Like, we won't know, I guess. If he
We
doesn't
won't
say.
know.
No.
No. But there's a reason he hasn't been to the White House since June, so maybe he
you
is on an anticoag and has
No,
some
you
chronic
think
cardiac condition.
him and Trump were having Fight Club. That's why he's all bruised up.
Maybe he's
We'll
been
let Katie
taking the
run with that.
antiviral and
I'm
his
starting the
liver is
rumor.
shot.
It could be.
I'm starting the rumor here. You heard it first here, folks, on Uncensored Radio. Trump and McConnell Fight Club.
We'll have to do a little cartoon of that one then. Well, girls, we should actually end the show. We'll quickly show this one too. This one,
Yes.
Katelyn. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh,
Um,
It never gets old.
It
never
doesn't.
gets old.
it doesn't.
It's
It feels
so
like
good.
home.
It's just so good.
All right, ladies, I've had a great time tonight with you all.
Don't
I
hope
go
you
vote, kid.
Yeah, and
Likewise.
thank you so much to Dia. Yeah, let Dia know. Thank you so much for coming on and speaking. I'll make sure this is all updated to include her in just the post. Yeah, but no, it was really good to hear from her and just what she stands for. I hope good things happen over there.
Stacey is me in many ways, but a lot less F-bombs.
Yes. Yes, she's like the more behaved Vera.
Yeah.
Here for and make sure you vote. All right,
Absolutely.
ladies.
Go vote.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.